Hari Om, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Shall we begin? Oh. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam. Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitmaram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gururadirradischa Guru Paramadaivatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Na guroradikam tattvam na guroradikam tapah tattvajnana param nasti tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Hari Om. Welcome back, everyone. It's been 3 weeks. We ended at mantra number 18. I think to quickly recap, we finished with what was the glory of this knowledge, and that was from the Mundaka Upanishad. Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshaya shiyate chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Knots of the heart get broken, all doubts are removed, and all karmas of the past are wiped out. And then we talked of glory of the man of wisdom. Who remembers how that goes? Prano hesha sarvabhuter vibhati vijana vidvan patena tivadi atma krida atmaratihi kriyavan esha brahmavidam varishtaha, who is the best among the knowers of truth, who is the light of consciousness in everyone. He's reveling in the self, sporting with the self, and does not engage in the unnecessary arguments. And this is where the concept of a child came in, which is what, when I was in CVV last 2 weeks ago, there was a SIF conference, and the topic was, I think it was spirituality, patriotism. I can't remember, it was something else. So this was on spirituality, and Guruji had to sit through listening to 2 hours of academics giving spiels on what is spirituality. Part of the way I even saw him doze. And then when his turn came after 2 hours, he went up and he spoke for only 15 minutes. And in the 3 days of talks I heard, this was the only 15 minutes which stuck. And he said, and he explained what spirituality is. And he said, when you have a child, a baby, what does the baby do? Doing nothing special gives joy to everyone. Doing nothing special. So when I told Guruji, oh, I will tell my grandson Adi, Siyawara Ramachandra ki, he says, Jai. He says, next time you do that, remember these words. He did Jai. Not doing nothing special gives incredible joy to everyone. That's what a man of wisdom does. And the object of spirituality is doing nothing special. Are you giving joy to everyone? And the second thing he said was the child sits there and just plays with himself, wanting no special toys or anything. The child is happy in his own self. And that is what a man of realization also does. Sporting Atma Krida, Atma Rati, that's what it means. Sporting in the self, reveling in the self, happy in himself. That's why children give us so much happiness, because they're closest. When you touch a child, that's as close to Brahma Sparsha as you will come. So that was the Atma Krida, Atma Rati of that verse. And then the last verse we did was the glory of Nishtha. What is Nishtha? What is abidance? I think it went Yada Hyavesha, Yada Hyavesha, Yada Hyavesha. How does it go, guys? Do you remember? Yada Hyavesha Etasmin Adrishye Anatme Anirukte Anilayane Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate Athaso Abhayam Gato Bhavati. So we said when he becomes fearlessly established in that which is Adrishye, invisible, Anatme, unembodied, Anirukte, indescribable, Anilayane, that which requires no support, Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate, when he abides fearlessly in those, then Athaso Abhayam Gato Bhavati. So the end result of this wisdom is Abhaya, fearlessness. And we said the cause of fearlessness was duality, because there's something other than me. If there's something other than me, it can give me joy or sorrow. There's a cause of fear. There's a fear of loss, fear of sorrow, fear of harm, because there's something other than me. But this is something which is his own self. It is gained, and therefore there's nothing to lose, nothing to gain, nothing to fear. So yada was the word used. When that happens, then the fearlessness is the end result. So that's where we left off. And that was from the Taittiriya Upanishad. And we continue with mantra number 19, which is a very, very famous mantra, which is also from the Taittiriya Upanishad. And you may have heard this before. You are 99% you would have heard it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha Anandam Brahmano Vidva Navibeti Kutaschaneti. So what is this word saying? Yataha. From where? Yata Vacho, words. Nivartante, return. Aprapya, without touching, without reaching. Manasa, the mind, also. Words and the mind, saha, together. Return without reaching. Anandam Brahmano Vidvan, the wise man who has realized the bliss of Brahman, we'll talk about that. Na vibeti, has no fear. Utaschaneti, of anything, has no fear of anything. Now we said Anandam Brahmano Vidvam. So Anandam, we've talked about Ananda, but we said bliss of Brahman, that's wrong. Because bliss of implies a quality, property of an object. So bliss itself is Ananda. Ananda itself is Brahman. That's why it's Satchit Ananda. It's one word, not three separate qualities of an entity. So one who realizes this bliss, which is Brahman, becomes Abhaya, which is fearless. Now the Ananda that you and I know is Ananda born out a transaction, Ananda born out of a transaction. a contact between our senses and our sense objects. So all our Ananda, in fact, that's very important, because if this Ananda wasn't there, would anyone have any purpose for living? If you didn't have any experience of joy, or even if you are sad, the reason you want to live is because there's some asha, some hope of Ananda in the future, born out of contact of my sense organs with sense objects. This Ananda, which the man of wisdom experiences, is not this Ananda which is born out of, it is abhava, it is unborn. It is, if it is unborn, it is immutable. If it is immutable, it is changeless. If it is changeless, it is infinite. Infinite, anantam. Now, if we dive a little more into what exactly is this this anandam. See, we've got a sense of limitation, sense of finitude, sense of incompleteness. The manifestation of incompleteness is sorrow. Incompleteness manifests as sorrow because I'm incomplete. Simple. To remove the sorrow, or to decrease my incompleteness, to become more complete, to become more whole, I obtain, derive, express a desire. So desire is born out of a sense of incompleteness because of my sorrow. What we are seeking is not joy. What we are seeking is completeness. But we think that if I gain X object, go to X place, become Y, I will become complete. I superimpose joy on that experience and try to gain it. That again is what all we are doing, is trying to gain these finite joys and therefore continue to remain incomplete. But this Brahman, which is Ananda, is Anantam. It is infinite. If it is infinite, it is complete. Therefore, there's no question of desire being born, because there's no question of sorrow being there. Now, it's the word used is na bibheti kutascha neti, knowing which this person becomes fearless. Na bibheti kutascha neti, he becomes fearless. He has no fear of kutascha neti, of anything. He's not afraid of anything. Now, there's a difference here. The same Taittiriya Upanishad in another verse says the same words, Anandam Brahmano Vidvan na bibheti kadaschaneti. The book explains that. Now, kadaschaneti means he's never afraid at any period of time. Kada. Now, there's a difference. This is kutaschaneti. He's not afraid of anything. There's nothing which can cause him fear. So when you say kadaschaneti, fear, cause of fear may be there, but the person is fearless. He does not fear anything. If you're a mafia guy, you know somebody's trying to kill you, you're still not worried, you're not afraid. But a man of wisdom, when it says kutaschaneti, it's saying that the very cause of fear disappears. So it's not just he's not afraid at any time, he's not afraid, period, because the cause of fear is gone. This is a very important theme I'm hitting on here. So stay focused. So what is the cause of fear? The cause of fear is duality. Duality means something other than me. Something other than me, now, by the way, When you realize, it doesn't mean your duality disappears. Non-perception of duality is not realization. Perception of duality without giving a sense of reality to duality, which means not getting attached to that duality, removes the cause of fear. I will repeat. The cause of fear is duality. Non-perception of duality is not what realization is. Perceiving duality, yet not giving reality to duality, and thus not getting attached to duality, removes the cause of fear. You and I see duality, we give reality to duality, we get attached to duality, and therefore we are afraid of either sorrow that it will give to us, or loss which it will give to us, or harm which it will cause us. Now, the reason I said this is important because I promised to ask Guruji this question when I went last time about what is Nishtha. And I did ask him, and I had the opportunity on the plane from Bombay to Kochi. I had the privilege of sitting next to him. So while we were having Upama, I asked this question. His answer was short and sweet. He said, Nishtha hota hai. Nishtha is absolutely important. And what does Nishtha mean? When a mountain of sorrows hits you, you don't even shake. That is Nishtha. He didn't say more, and I dared not ask more. So then I've been reflecting for about 2 weeks on this issue now. And the common argument is, well, if you know, then why, then do you... Basically, the question is, what are the degrees of knowing is what we are saying here, right? Esha Varishtha, Esha Brahma Vidam Varishtha. There's the best among the knowers of Brahman. So confusion in our minds always was, are there degrees of knowing is what we are saying, right? And we weren't sure. We thought, well, if you know, then you know. To me, if you know, it still doesn't mean you know. I know how to sing, and I can sing now, but I promise you, all will hang up and leave. Shankar Mahadevan comes and sing, we will have a problem in the number of Zoom callers we can engage on this call. We both know how to sing. He's established, he has nishtha in singing. We both may know how to play the piano, but the professional has got nishtha in playing the piano. The example given in the book, so clouds are covering the sun. When the cloud goes, I say, sun, sun, sun to a child. When the clouds are not there, no sun. When he gets nishtha, he knows clouds or no clouds, the sun is there. When he gets absolute nishtha, he knows in the pitch dark of midnight, the sun is still there. So nishtha is the ultimate manifestation of nishtha is abhayam, fearlessness, because seeing duality, not giving any reality, not getting attached, the bibeti kutas janeti. The cause of fear is gone. That's important. I'll pause there. So what you're thinking is what I'm thinking, is what the student was thinking in Taittiriya Upanishad when he says, oh Guru, but show me Brahman. I still want to, you've given me all the spiel about the 5 sheets, the Panchakoshas, approach a guru, all that, but I want to see, I need something more than that. Fair enough question. And that's why he says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Yato vacho nivartante. So this Brahman, this bliss, this yataha, now we said in the previous word, anirukte, it is indescribable. Yet you say describe it. Yato vacha nivartante. There, from where all words, all speech, they return without touching. Manasasaha, along with the mind, aprapya, without touching it. Now, why is that? What can words do, speech do? They can describe something. What can the mind do? It can feel something. What can the intellect do? It can think of an idea, of a concept. In technical terms, words can describe jati, species, guna, attributes, kriya, activities, 4, sambandh, relationships. Jati, it's a cow, it's a dog, it's a plant. Gunas, it is black, white, yellow, green, tall, short, ugly. Kriya, what is its activities? It's jumping, it's singing, it's dancing. And the final, sambandh, my brother, my friend, my uncle, my sister, my wife. This Brahman cannot fall into jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. It cannot be perceived by the senses. I cannot see, smell, hear, taste, touch. No pratyaksha praman is possible. Therefore, words become incapable of describing something which is not an object of the senses, of the mind, or of the intellect. So pratyaksha is not possible. We described this in the previous word as adrishyam. Therefore, does it mean it does not exist? Because if I tell you something is non-existent, it will follow into these 4 categories too. There's no guna, there's no kriya, there's no sambandh, there's no jati. Therefore, it should be non-existent. But you cannot say it's non-existent because you yourself are existence. And from existence, non-existence is not possible. So it is not non-existence. It is satyam, jnanam, anantam, also known as sat, chit, ananda. It is your own self. Now, again it says, Anandam Brahmana. This Ananda word is again repeated here, that if there was no such thing as Ananda, we would not be able to experience any joy whatsoever. The fact that we experience any joy means there has to be a source of that Ananda. And if we didn't express any Ananda, no one would have a desire to live in this world. And I said, even if one is sorrowful, there's always the Ananda Asha, that I will gain happiness in the future. So you cannot say it's non-existent. At the same time, it is not perceived by the senses, felt by the mind, thought of by the intellect. Because the senses, my intellect, can only cognize or perceive finite, limited things. So the flip is, if my senses, mind, and intellect cannot cognize something, yet it is not non-existence, it is existent, by definition, it is infinite. And if it is infinite, by definition, there's only one infinity. There cannot be limitless entities. And that is my own true self. So, na bibeti kutaschaneti is a very powerful statement which says that the very cause of fear is gone, not because perception of duality is gone, but the reality I give to the duality and the attachment I develop with it and its ability to give me any more completeness is gone. That is called nishtha. That is called abidance in knowledge. Then I reflected more what Guruji had said, and the statement he said about when a mountain of sorrows comes, it doesn't shake you, is given in the Bhagavad Gita. Yasmin sthito na dukkhena guru napi vichalyate. The nishtha having established in which is that if mountain-like sorrows comes, this is the Bhagavad Gita, it cannot shake a person. And those who've been around Guruji, have you watched? This guy died, this guy is sad, this person's son died, mother died, father died, Acharya died, lost business. It's not because he's insensitive. He may respond, boom. There's no second thought given to it. Krishna, correct me if I'm wrong. We are watching it in action. Atma Krida, Atma Rati, day in, day out. Day in, day out. We have a live stream of what a man of wisdom is. Abhayam pratishtham vindate. Same words. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa anandam brahmana vidva na bibheti kutaschaleti. Fearlessness. Before I continue, I'll pause here.
Can I just pick on one of the subtle points that you just made,
Sure.
which is that words, the mind, intellect can't perceive it. And we've always kind of spoken about it in those kinds of terms that, the words are limited and so is the mind and so is the intellect. And recently I heard Swami Advayananda explain it the other way around, which I thought I'd just share with everyone. He says that for a mind to perceive or for the intellect to think, it needs to be in the structure of a thought. For a word to describe, it needs to be on the same four kind of criteria that you just mentioned there. Therefore, if something doesn't have those qualities, it simply cannot, these equipment simply cannot operate. And the point that you were making is that nothingness also doesn't have those qualities. And that's why they use the language to say it doesn't actually have those qualities, yet it is. So just in that statement that it is just that it doesn't have the qualities. So, something doesn't make a sound, my ears can't perceive it. In the same way, it's not that it isn't there, it's just that it doesn't make a sound. So it's just a slightly subtle way in which you shift it to say actually the qualities are just not there for your equipments to perceive it. It's not necessarily a fault of your equipments necessarily.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, observations, questions, disagreements?
if no one else has one, I have a question actually.
Go for it.
So, coming to your the why do we have fear in the first place? It comes from duality. Duality is from a sense of incompleteness. Sorry, a lack of happiness comes from a sense of incompleteness. Now, the cause of all of this is ignorance, not vasanas, correct? Vasanas are the vasanas are an effect of ignorance. They're not the cause of the ignorance.
The manifestation of ignorance is vasanas.
Manifestational. Okay.
And the best example I still have, which really hit me, as I said, go see that virtual reality thing. You wear goggles and you walk around. It freaked me out. I, I had vertigo, physical vertigo. I was about to fall, holding on to Kanchan. And then when I finished and I pulled out the mask, I was standing in an 8x8 room by myself, like an idiot, just walking around, thinking I'm going to fall off a mountain, and there are these animals and birds flying over me, sound, light. And I actually want to go back there with this understanding, put that mask on and walk around and see, now with this understanding, do I really still get that vertigo and that feeling? So the bottom line is, even in the perception of duality, one who has nishtha sees it as an appearance, sees it as an illusion. And that's the nishtha. And those who don't have the nishtha will still feel, oh, I'm going to fall off the mountain. I better hold on to the railing. Oh, there's a bird coming. Let me bend down. You see? So there's degrees of nishtha. So the second time I go, I may be more stable, but if a bird comes flying, chances are I will duck. The third, the fourth, the fifth, the 10th time I go, bird, no mountain, no mountain, I'm just walking right through with the full understanding that this is a virtual reality show. That's the degrees of nishtha.
And on that point, with Guruji's response, the earlier verse that we did, which is Naham Manya Suvedeti, it's essentially that, isn't it? Because he's saying, I know, but I don't know. So really, even when we talk about degrees of, what we're saying is that they know, but they don't know because there is no nishtha.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
Because this is what illumines both the known and the unknown. That's why you cannot say you know it, as well as saying I don't know it. It illumines both. Because both are thoughts. I know is a thought, I don't know is a thought. Anyone else? The beauty of this Upanishad is it's beautiful. There's no other way of putting it. And the way it's been strung, the more you go through it and reflect on it, the way it's been strung is incredible. And we're coming to even more beautiful sections. I think there's about 5 mantras left, 5 or 6 left. It's really, really beautiful. Each one really pregnant if we go deep into it. So we're talking about Jivan Mukta Purusha. Yeah, man of wisdom. And the next verse we will come to is, I believe, is also from the Taittiriya Upanishad, yes. Where there's the question of do's and don'ts. Our entire life is basically one big composition of do's and don'ts. What you can, what you should do, what you should not do. Right? From a student to a grahastha, to vanaprastha, to sannyas, to whatever function you have in society. And our only issue is what we are supposed to do, we don't do. What we are not supposed to do, we do. Then we go back and we have regrets that I did what I shouldn't do and I didn't do what I should have done. That's the cause of our problems. Now, the man of wisdom, how does he relate to these do's and don'ts? He's never disturbed by do's and don'ts, not because of his thick skin or his ignorance, but it's just the state in which do's and don'ts do not apply anymore. And it's a beautiful mantra, but it's a big one, which we will take up next week. You may have heard that as well. It's a very popular mantra. Vetaha Vanatapati. It's from the Taittiriya Upanishad. I'll pause there, because the idea is not to overload, but to reflect. So we began with, I'm a mumukshu. I've examined life. I go to a guru, approach him with humility. Guru Lakshanas are given, and he should teach us only Brahma Vidya. And what is Brahma Vidya? What is Atman? Then we went to Ishavasya Upanishad, where the tautology between Atman and Brahman was described. Not Ishavasya, Kaivalya Upanishad, Tattvameva Toyeva Tat. Then we went to Ishavasya Upanishad to talk what is the vision of a man of wisdom. Then we went to Kathopanishad, which said what happens when, even at the time of death, a little bit of manyness is experienced. Mrityu cha mrityu gacchati, ya iha naneva pashyati. Even a little bit of nana, of differences, you go from mrityu to mrityu. Otherwise, there's no aversion. So then the question was, is there any positive assertion of happiness? And then Kathopanishad explained that in this vision is the only time that you get permanent sukham shashvatam, and permanent shanti, which is shashvati shanti. Then the question was, did the student understand? And the teacher asked him, do you understand? And he says, Naham manye suvedeti. That was from the Kenopanishad. Teacher was happy and he blessed him, Mundaka Upanishad, and he said, Om ityeva dhyayasta atmanam swastiva paraya tamasa parasta. Student now expresses his gratitude in Prashna Upanishad, Te tam archayantaha, and he ends with, Tvamhino pita, yu asmakam avidyayam paras param tarayasiti. Nama paramarishibhyo, nama paramarishibhya. The secret sauce, Shvetashvatara Upanishad. The same devotion to the Guru one must have for the Lord. And then knowledge revelation takes place, and not krama, not gaining the knowledge step by step. The sun in its entire brightness shines forth. After that was the knowledge of the glory of the knowledge, which was Vidyat Hridayaganti. And then was glory of the man of wisdom, also from that was also from Mundaka. Then we had glory of Nishtha, which is Taittiriya Upanishad, and we've continued with the glory of Nishtha today, which is fearlessness from the Taittiriya Upanishad. That's been the garland so far. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Anything anyone wants to share about anything? Doesn't have to be about Vedanta. How's your summer going? Sandeep, you're at the family camp, I take it?
No, I'm on cricket duty. I'm taking my boy to a cricket match.
Okay.
It's the usual Sunday routine.
Nice.
Um, in terms of these mantras, sometimes actually there's nothing to talk about, right? Like I'm just thinking of this one here, for example. Like actually, as a reflection, if you had followed the mantras and the sequence that you just explained, I would almost have a doubt that, wow, how am I not feeling any fear? How am I, on all these things that used to bother me before, what's gone? Have they just fallen off? Is something wrong with me? And essentially, he's now saying basically, yeah, as you approach this, your fear drops away. Your sense of unhappiness drops away. All these other things that used to bother you are all dropping away, essentially. So it's almost my own evolution as I'm going through these verses. I don't know if you see that as well, but
Yeah, I think each one must reflect to what extent that nishtha is coming. Um, it's a reflection of to what extent your faith is growing. Um, and I think, at least in my experiences, as the faith deepens, the rest follows. Because one begins to then view everything around as a manifestation of really his glory and very less of my doing. And as that happens, you begin to see magic happen in and around you. Things that you never thought possible just starts happening. And it's almost freaky.
Suresh, can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm still not clear about when you said perception of duality does not ensure. I can't remember the words you used, but I didn't understand.
Right. So some people think that on realization, you see oneness, everything, you don't see duality. That is not true. You will perceive duality, but you will understand that there is one infinity which is projecting itself as this duality. You will sit in a movie theater, watch the movie, a very sad, romantic movie, without having tears in your eyes or crying, because you're focused on the fact that it's a screen and everything I'm watching is simply paid actors who are paid a hell of a lot of money to give me a performance. When you watch a movie with that attitude, I promise you, you will not like any movie. The movies you really enjoy are those in which you switch off, embrace the characters, embrace the stories, really get involved, go up and down with the emotions, and you come out and go, wow, what a movie. What does that mean? I saw duality, knowing it to be false. I gave a sense of reality to it, and I participated in the joys and sorrows of the happenings.
Sorry,
So,
but that's really hard because then how do you balance compassion with that?
because that's when compassion will become absolutely second nature, because you see yourself in everyone else. You cannot but feel compassion and love for everyone else as you do for your little finger or your eye or your nose. They become part of you because you become that one sutre manigainaiva. You become that one thread that holds all the pearls together. Which pearl is most precious to you? You can't cut anyone off. It'll destroy the entire necklace. So karuna, compassion, is not even a byproduct. It is a contemporaneous um, effect. Not use the word effect. Contemporaneous experience of this state of duality, yet not giving duality reality.
Sorry.
Um,
And then you said there are degrees. So
Yes.
you have to, so if we looked at Gurudev's life, did he have degrees? Sorry, I'm trying to understand this and it's difficult.
Think of Gurudev as being the maestro musician. And you and me are just learning how to play the tabla. And he was the master musician who ran the whole orchestra because he understood every instrument perfectly. So he was established in that. He had incredible establishment in the truth from everything that I've read, seen, heard, and experienced. There was a master of very few nishtas as Gurudev. We could go back in history and identify a few. I don't know, maybe Ramakrishna Paramsa, maybe Vivekananda. I don't know them well enough, but the nishtha of Gurudev is evident in the glory, the manifestation of Chinmaya Mission today, and where it will be millennia from now.
Thank you.
That's why in Chinmaya Mission we don't do anything without the name Chinmaya. Sandeep?
I thought this is an interesting point, the first one that Chris just raised, because duality is there, as in, sorry, it's difficult to use language now. It's not that the duality has kind of gone away, if you like, but you're able to see through it. So I think the example that's usually used in Vedanta is that the illusion in the desert is there. Now, if I go running after, if I'm covered by ignorance and I go running after it thinking that water is going to quench my thirst, that's what we're trying to deal with. But that illusion of that oasis over there, even if I have the wisdom that there's nothing but sand there, I will still see that mirage. And I think that's what is being talked about here, that you're so established in the truth that actually that is just an illusion, that you're not you're not giving that illusion any reality, but you'll still witness it. You'll still see it. It'll still be there, if you like.
That's an excellent analogy, Sandeep. Thank you. Excellent.
Sorry, it's I'm very confused. Can you hear me? Yeah. Going back to the 2 points, if we are aware there is a mirage or there's a screen, and as you say, you enjoy the movie only when you're really into it, you feel sorry and happy for them, but you know it's a screen, that actors being paid to do it, then you followed it with saying, but the karuna comes when you have the oneness. That's where I'm getting stuck at, because if you know it's an illusion, you just say to yourself, well, they're all play acting. They're all pretending to fight and kill each other. So how can I feel compassion for them? When they take off their clothes, they go home to their family and kids. So I'm getting stuck with, if you feel compassion, then you're giving it reality. And at that time, you're closing off the fact that you're aware it's an illusion.
That's a very good point, Amma. So
I'm stuck.
the analogy of the movie will break down at the compassion level. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But the compassion at a relative level, like when a guru meets a disciple, and a good guru that is, by that, and I don't know if I use that word, good guru, because gurus are all meant to be good, but one who has karuna. In fact, the definition of a guru is one who is Stotriya, Brahmanishta, and Karuna, complete, full compassion. Why would he have compassion? Now, Gurudev used to say, people come to me and they say, husband problem, wife problem. I could just tell them, you are Brahman, this is all an illusion, and they will all walk away and I will never see them again. But the Guru has to meet you at your level. And the reason he has compassion is because he knows that he was at that level at some point in his evolution. So the compassion is born, and the reason they repeated the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads over and over and over, sometimes I almost feel sorry when I go to Guruji Satsang. He's repeating the same thing to different people each time, over and over. He's trying to meet different people at different levels so they may rise to see what he has seen. So that compassion comes out of his infinite love of everyone else whom he sees himself in at one point in time, and now sees himself as the manifestation of consciousness in all of them. So that compassion comes from it, and it's not a make-believe or a fake. That's what you can tell from a fake guru.
Yes.
A real guru, you will see true compassion where he will meet you at your level to sincere seekers.
I don't know. It's isn't that arrogance in a way that I know better, I've been there, and I'm like above you, and I'm just talking not as a Guruji, but as person to person. How can you either, if you feel I'm not expressing it correctly, I don't know how to say it, but it's anyway, I think I'll keep listening to you, and somewhere along the way you'll explain it.
You cannot equate compassion with arrogance. They almost don't go together. If I'm arrogant,
This is it. They're contradictory. They contradict each other.
So if I'm arrogant, I, by definition, will not be compassionate because I'm good. I'm the best. I am somebody. You are nobody. To hell with you. Compassion is humility. I've been there. I've suffered. I've gained. I have learned. How do I share what I can to remove your sorrow to whatever extent I can? So, in effect, compassion implies a sense of humility and a magnanimity which is incompatible with arrogance.
Yes, but I have to still see the person as different. If I see the person as me,
I see the person as different because that person sees me as completely different. That's what it means when meeting someone at their level. One Mahatma to another conversation will be very different from one Mahatma between you and me. I meet a dog, which is a really brutal dog, and I try to pet it, it will bite me. I have to meet the dog at its level, befriend it, ask if I can pet it before I do that, because the dog doesn't see me as someone trying to help him.
okay.
So oneness does not imply you see everybody as yourself.
All right, that was my mistake. Yes.
That's a mistake people tend to make as well.
Yeah.
Oneness means an understanding that there is duality, but it is not something which is going to affect me, but I have to meet it at its level because that person, or that, again, may not be a trained dog, may be a brutal dog. So I have to meet the person at that level. So never confuse oneness with what a lot of Hindus used to do in the past. We're all one, come, Mughals, come and rule us, take over, we're all one, destroy our temples, that's okay. The Quran and the Gita, all one message. All that nonsense got us to where we are.
Yes. Yes. Needs a lot of thinking and working on it. Thank you.
Rajeshji, you're very quiet.
No, I just had a point or something crossed my mind. I'll share. Generally, we as seekers, when we are not in the company of the Guru and the great, we act to seek satisfaction. And Guru is at a place, and he kind of acts out of satisfaction. So compassion and humility naturally flows because you are doing it for loka sangraha, like what you are doing right now. So just a thought that crossed my mind. Hariho.
Thank you. Thank you. I had the pleasure of meeting Rajesh ji last week. And first of all, he's a very accomplished pediatrician specializing in babies between, is it what you said?
Premature baby.
Premature. So if anyone needs a... And the second thing which came to mind was when somebody, Guruji was invited to, he was given an award by the Shankaracharya, what's this, the Omkareshwar Mandal or something, and he gave a talk there. I don't know if you heard it, where he talked about the spirit of Advait. And someone said, again, Advait, they give long lectures, 3 hour. And Guruji's definition was there was this brahmachari. Did you all hear that story? There was a brahmachari, he was traveling with him, I think it was Kanpur, God knows when. And this brahmachari was reading a book and lost in his own little world, and they all took the train and left. And this brahmachari was left behind, obviously with no money and nothing, no phones at those times. And this brahmachari didn't know what to do, so he went to the ticket collector, he went around and they said, go to speak to the superintendent. No one was willing to help him. The superintendent then asked him, where are you from? And he said, Andhra. And that was the key word. He said, you're from Andhra, I'm from Andhra. That was enough. He gave him a place to stay, gave him money, put him in the train. The next day he reached. So Guruji said, if Andhra created a feeling of oneness, imagine what the man of wisdom who has oneness with entire creation, what his relationship will be with everyone. And that was his definition of Advait. Now, how did this come up? When I met Rajesh ji, he told me he's a fellow Sindhi, and we started speaking in Sindhi, and therefore the spirit of Advait woke up there.
That was a nice one, Suresh.
Shall we chant the Gita Panchamrit if there are no other questions? Volunteers? Shloka number 1. Smita. Number 2. Sujanji, okay.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Uddharedatmanatma atma prasadaye.
One sec. Let's find the
Numbers.
number 3.
A lot of numbers.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
Who's going to do the number 3?
Okay.
Rajesh ji. Okay. Number 4.
Second.
Sujan again. Okay.
Shall I do number 2?
Okay. Do number 2. Who's doing 1 again? I'm confused. 1.
I can do 1 also.
Smita ji is doing 1.
Okay.
Smita is doing 1. Sujan is doing 2. 3 is
Rajesh ji.
Rajesh ji. 4. 4.
I'll do 4.
Sandeep 4. And 5 is Asumati. Okay. Let's go.
उत्तरेदात्मनात्मानं नात्मानमवसादये आत्मेव यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मेव रिपुरात्मनः.
I'm confused now anyway. I'll go with the other one.
The second one.
कर्मण्यधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन
Achana.
मा कर्मफलेषु मा ते सङ्गोऽस्
Akarma.
कर्मणि.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Hari.
Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogashemam vahamyaham.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः.
was noticing some of you may not have seen this book, but all the 5 verses are here with commentary by Gurudev, which has been compiled beautifully. We're handing out one to every walking, breathing Hindu. Please make sure you all pick one up from Chinmay Kirti. If you're not coming there, send me a WhatsApp and I'll mail this to you.
Or you can pick it up on our yatra, coming or being near you. We've been leaving them at the local temples as well, right, Suresh? So
Yeah. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. I will see you next week.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Suresh ji.
Hari Om.